Boom. What's up, y'all? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's just do that. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, AD Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. And I just realized I did all that chatting, pre-chatting, but I did not send out my text. I don't know. It's just always just not enough of a habit. I've been doing it at least 200 shows, half of what I've been doing. All right. So appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Let everybody know that the brothers are on. Again, we appreciate you. Hey, Lisa, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always sharing and supporting. So, are we creating change? Are we having conversations that are creating change? That's what we are discussing today. All right. So I'm gonna kick this intro off, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back. I'm thinking at the same time while talking. I don't think I can do both. All right.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Boom. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. That's what I'm talking about. Say it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud.
I knew
Yeah.
somebody was gonna
Not
catch
only in
on.
February, say it all the time.
Somebody will catch on. Hey, D, can you please, before we get started,
No.
give the people some truth about Black history today.
Give them some truth about Black history.
Today.
Today, I was trying to find my man.
Come on, man.
Hold
Come
on.
on, man.
I know I wasn't
Come
ready.
on,
I wasn't
now,
ready. Hold
The
on.
pressure is on you, man.
The pressure's
Come on,
on.
man.
The pressure's on.
Yeah.
Uno momento,
You're
por
taking too
favor.
long. You're quicker than this in your soliloquy. Come on, man. Give it to me now.
Good morning, Mama Corey. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Hold on. I had him.
Today in Black history.
Hold on. Yeah, today in Black history. Today.
Come on now.
Gotta get louder and then say it again. Cause you're trying to
say it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud. No, we did that already. All right. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on.
In the words of Matt Genius, I'm black on black on black
there
on black
go.
on black on black on black.
Boom. All right. So today, good morning. Today's do I have a thing? No. Today's Black History Moment. A gentleman by the name of LeCount Davis. LeCount Davis. He was the first black certified financial planner. The first black certified financial planner. That's it. Just giving a shout out. The Count.
Okay.
Davis.
Now what state was the Count from?
Oh, you asking a lot, brother.
I'm just saying it should be right there in front of you there, young sir.
You know what? I is sick of you. Oh
my goodness. Well, I tell you, all this preparation and you ain't prepared. What's going on?
He said all this preparation, I ain't prepared. Shut your face. Let's see. The Count from Denver, Colorado. You know how we rock. You know how we get down in Denver. You know how we get down in Denver. He was probably the number 3. All right. What up, Jeff? Good morning. Again,
what's going on there, Jeff?
Brothers of Legacy. We appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for being a part. Thank you for sharing. If you haven't shared already, be a part of the Share Club. Sharing is caring. If you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you do so. Hit that link. Make sure you subscribe, because I know sometimes you forget. You get so enthralled and so caught up, you forget. And make sure you hit the like. If you're already subscribed, you're hanging out with us, hit that like button. It helps with the algorithm. And excuse me, have the hiccup burpees. All right, so, and make sure you join our community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. never miss what's going down with the Brothers of Legacy or the Legacy Walker Network. All right. Now that we got that out the way, he said, he said, what happened to Pastor? He became a Buddhist. Nah, he's on a trip. He's handling some business. So let's see. Do this. Let's do this. And nope. Yeah, there you go. Don't blame your parents. We're talking about, are we having conversations that are creating change? Are we having conversations that are creating change? I thought about this topic, as I've probably mentioned before, like some of the reasons I did I started with Brother Legacy and having these conversations. So I used to follow a lot of conversations back in the 90s. It was like forum after forum after forum after Black forum, usually led by Al, Jesse, or Tavis Smiley. You remember Tavis? Poor Tavis. It seemed like he all the way canceled. You know, he just got all the way canceled. Like I ain't seen Tavis, my man, in forever. Like, somebody let me know if y'all seen Tavis or if he got a show or something. I've never.
He does some stuff in the West Coast, in LA and stuff.
Okay.
You know, it was.
I know,
and he runs this radio show. He used to be, at least.
Okay.
It's an AM channel in LA, and so yeah. But Tavis used to have I was about to say goodest conversations, but it's the best conversations.
Goodest work.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've interrupted you. I didn't mean to.
Nah, you good. You good. You good. Couldn't even judge my soliloquy as well. So I got to make sure.
I'm like, it was a little shorter this morning, man.
I jumped in too early. That's what happened.
You
talked about Tavis. I was like, Tavis. I know Tavis.
Sorry. But I will say this, Thomas.
Yeah.
It was right on time, my brother. It was right on time. So,
you know what?
But he did apologize, though. He did apologize. He said he was sorry for cutting in, but he cut in at the right time. I mean, after 120 seconds, you know what I'm saying? Pass it off there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, let me finish. Mm-hmm. So today we're talking about, are we having a conversation that are creating change? So we talk a lot, and that's what we come to before we got started. Realize we talk a lot. But is it helpful? Is it helping move the needle in the issues that our communities face? And a lot of times, like even the forums I used to watch, you know, there's a lot of us, but the people that probably needed to be in the room, you know, they weren't invited, you know, just say that, or just there was no interest, or for whatever reason. So today we just kind of want to talk about, you know, do the conversations help? That's the main thing. Are these conversations helping? And what works are being done after conversations?
So, hey, how's it going?
What?
Donnie Simpson, Sherry Carter. My apologies. you weren't done yet. I apologize.
You know what? Let me do this. So Thomas. Dr. Thomas. Like in these conversations, because I'm sure you've been a part of a lot of them. Let's talk about what's some of the makeup of helping move a conversation forward.
What was that? I didn't hear that.
What's some of the makeup like that will help not just have idle conversations, but have conversations that can produce some level of results?
Yeah. You know, when we think about the conversations, a lot of times we get frustrated with conversations because it seems like all we're doing is having conversations. It seems like we're just talking, to be talking.
Right.
A major issue comes up and we have the talking heads show up, right? We have the Ben Crumps, we have the Al Sharptons, and everybody else. So we have these conversations that begin to happen, not to knock what they're doing. I mean, to me, if someone's doing something, they're doing something, but the conversation needs to progress beyond just the talking heads and the people that show up. It's like, this is a community kind of situation when we have these national conversations that are going on. When we have these movements that are taking place, you know, it's a lot of talk and conversation. It's a lot of pride in what we see, but there's not a lot of pride in what we do after that, right? Okay. And so we have to begin to move the needle from talking to doing something.
Right.
Just don't talk about it, be about it. Right.
Right.
So, but we also have to organize people on understanding what it's like to be about something, because everybody doesn't know where they can get in. But let's make it simple. Let's go back to the hood, get in where you fit in. And that's what we have to begin to do, is find a place, where do we fit in so that we can do something to make this work. A lot of times the conversation happens, and in the background, what I've heard, and even I used to do, is somebody needs to do something about that.
Right.
Somebody needs to do something about that, right? Like, I ain't gonna do it, nothing, but someone needs to do something, right? And the conversation is good and it's rich, but it'll die out.
Yes.
And then until the next big public situation thing that happens,
right? Yep.
And then we'll have more conversations.
Yes.
And a lot of times, also, we're having the same conversation over a different person. And
That's good.
we have to recognize that there's a trauma that's going on within our people, because we keep seeing the same things over and over and nothing's happening. We're having the same conversations. So, a lot of times that can be detrimental, because we're not seeing any change. We're not seeing any transformation. So it's like, why do anything anyways?
Right.
I got it hard for myself.
Right.
So that's why you just can't knock conversation. But at the same time, we have to start to move these conversations from just words to action.
Action. Right. True indeed. Jeff said something, and he's joking, but probably serious. But he said, yeah, I'm good at having the conversations, but don't ask me to alter my old man stubborn routine. Right. Like Thomas said, in the back, you're like, somebody need to do something about this.
Right. But, Jeff was once young.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And now he's old. Now he has a different excuse.
Right.
I'm using you as an example, Jeff, because you put yourself out there. But
when you're young, I got kids, I got wife, I got things to do.
Right. I got this, I got that. When I was younger, I'm trying to live my life. I ain't got time to do all this. Now that I'm older, I'm like old and stubborn. I'm not trying to change my ways.
I can't do all that.
It's one thing. One of the things I've learned about, when we make an excuse, we make a defense for that excuse. Right. Immediately. They go hand in hand. Make an excuse, and you'll make a defense. So if you make an excuse why you can't do something, you'll make a defense so you can stay in that same place. Whatever. It could be a weak defense or whatever, but you'll have a defense to go up with. And so these conversations need to happen, though, because, are we having conversations that are creating change? The answer is yes.
Right.
Yes, the conversations are creating change, but they're actually going in the slow manner, because it's just talk sometimes. We have these panel discussions, and now the panel discussions, it's like, man, that's great information, that was good, and now you walk out from that discussion and real life slaps you in your face. It's like you walk out the door and life was like, where you been?
Right.
And now you're right back to reality. It's like, man, I was motivated by that, but no change really came out of it.
Right. Indeed. Jeff said, he said, brother, I'm a master of pulling out those excuse cards. If anybody needs any lessons, I'll hook you up.
That's what we need. Yeah. I probably think that, there's things we make excuses for. So, like Jeff is probably serious. I got family, I have all these things, and those are real reasons, right?
Right.
But when we come to doing that little extra, what is the extra to move from conversation to action?
Right.
That's like, do we want to give that little extra? What are we sacrificing to give that little extra?
Right. Because I think I think a lot of times people feel like, to be involved, I have to give up like 4 or 5 days out of my week. And when honestly, if every person gave up an hour of their day, if everybody think about it, everybody gave up an hour a day, this will fill the need of whatever we're trying to change. Like, hey, I need someone here at least to watch, and everyone's thinking, man, I can't be there all day. It's like, I don't need you all day. I need you an hour. They can do an hour. They can do an hour. Yeah. Remember, you ain't got to get your kids till 5 o'clock. You can do an hour. You got time. You got time. And keeping it 100, just like I've heard the saying, people pay for what they want. People have time for what they want.
Yeah.
We always can make time for everything. So I feel like if you really want to do this, if you really want change to happen, you make time. And I think some of our issue with when tragedy or things happen is we're not launched into that space until something happens to me, something happens to my child, something happens to my cousin. Now I want, hey, Jeff, I need all y'all come together. We need to change this.
I mean, we can look at the opioid crisis over the last few years, where now it's starting to happen in suburbia,
right?
And now we got to do something about it. I just recently wrote a paper about how, I'm looking at heroin addicts back in the 70s and 80s and stuff. Heroin's been a big deal for years. It's not like it just came out. But now it just affected a different community. Oh, we got to do something.
We got to do something. Right? And now it's a disease.
Right.
It's a different classification. And not that I say I disagree, but it's like, oh, now it's a different classification.
Yeah.
So, that was the right people talking, having a conversation, going to the proper people like, we need to change this,
Right.
Jeff says, yeah, honestly, I think we've all been placed in specific geographical location on this big spinning ball. I make sure I'm a good neighbor to my people right around me. We don't necessarily have to go anywhere. Our making things better is usually right in our backyard. Indeed.
Absolutely. Indeed. And that's the way I think it starts in your own backyard. It starts where you can get people together. But what can you take those people there in your backyard and mobilize them to do something, right? It's like if you just do things around your bubble, then you're protecting the bubble, and the bubble looks good, feels good, neighborhood watch is good, and everything else. But can you mobilize those same people to go do something, to engage in some type of community activity? I think a lot of times when we get involved with something, and if we're looking at the bigger picture of what can I actually do in this space, it will allow everybody to visualize, this is what I can do. This is where I can get people to come alongside. And it doesn't mean, like you said, AD, it doesn't take, you creating a nonprofit organization, because that's where people, a lot of times they go. When they start getting involved with things, they're like, oh, this is good. I want to create an organization to do this. I want to create, you don't need to recreate the wheel. You just need to plug into what's already there and be able to support and be sincere about that support, meaning that you show up and you're always actively engaged with that organization, because a lot of the organizations that are out there need people. They need, and so if we're talking about getting involved with the organization, or you could do something simple. You can make some lunches and take them and talk to the homeless, not just hand out bags and lunches. Talk to the people.
Talk to them.
And I don't even, we're changing terms of homelessness to where it's unhoused people.
Interesting. So, unhoused. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because there's these stigmas around people.
Yeah. But I'm with you. Words matter. Words matter sometimes.
And so we want to make sure that what's being done in community is not harming. It's not just parachuting in and boom, here's your lunch, boom, I'm out. I feel good. Your stomach's full for a good hour and a half.
Right.
And that's cool and all, but when you start to create conversations around the places that change needs to be, then it really begins to influence. And so you see influencers and you get excited about the people who are out there doing this work. And you're like, good for you, right?
Yeah.
But everybody doesn't need to even get out in the streets. A lot of people, we're called to different things. Some people are called to the marketplace. And that means that you got great jobs that make great money. Well, give some of that money out. Don't just get into your space and think that, okay, a consistent $10 a month for an organization, if 100 people gave a consistent $10 a month, it would be great. It's not asking you to break yourself. It's the change you got in your pocket right now. That's and so you want to move something from conversation to change. You got to get in where the change is and support the change and be the change you want to see. That's what I always share. It's like, be the change you want to see. What do you want to see change? And it's not make America great again. I'm just saying, I have to throw that out there because not that I'm getting political with it, but we can't just, we think about the mantra of making America great again.
Hey, good morning.
And for a whole group of people, where was America great at? You know?
Right.
When has America been great for us, right? And a lot of times, there's these arguments of rhetoric. Well, that's distraction. Yeah. That's not to bring change. That's not a conversation to bring change. That's a conversation that promotes division.
Right.
And so we got to look at the conversations we're having also. Right. And are we getting stuck on, well, they said this, they said that? No, if someone's saying something that we don't agree with, we don't have to be in that conversation.
Right. True.
Move on to the next one. Don't get distracted.
Definitely. Let's see. Jeff said, hopefully they take that forward. I've never felt responsible to make sure others do what I can be responsible for what I do. He said, however, there are certain people that have a gift for organizing movement and people. That's not my gift. Though. I disagree, Jeff, only because, you've brought several people to the show, like to watch the broadcast. I mean, that's leadership. Most movements are people grabbing folks into a movement. Like, listen, we need to come together, do this. You're passionate and like, you don't like it. I don't like it. Let's do something about it. Michael says, to quote Ricky Waters, for who? For what? And for what? This is the time. Did you say you're going to vote for my big brother down?
Yeah, I had to laugh at that one. Yeah.
He said, well, okay. He said, I haven't thought of that. I mean, because a lot of times, and Thomas said something big. So a lot of times we see a space or see a need, see if someone else is in that space and join part of that organization, because a lot of times you have an idea that the organization needs, like, I need someone to mobilize this section of the organization. That's why this need is here. So what you get, though, you got to look at it, right? Their organization, they got funding coming in. I got funding here. This is our budget. So you come in working with some money. You come in working with some people. You can help shape a grant or something, because this is an empty space. Like, listen, you're going to do this. We're going to work it. We're going to get a grant and you'll get funding. So instead of trying to start your own, you can join somebody else's, get paid for what you're doing, instead of, because Thomas could tell you the bootstrapping of struggling. It's like looking at the budget like, somebody ain't gonna get paid this month. Like
me.
Right. Like, my employees got to get paid first, I guess. So someone's gonna take a pay cut, So it's important that you think about that. Like, we are quick to kind of jump and start. And maybe you have an opportunity to join somebody, join in the fight. And just as a note, no, they're not going to do exactly the way you do things. But if the goal is a particular thing and you can get it done, just get it done. Get her done. Get her done. Kadeem.
Yes, sir.
Kadeem's on his way to a march in California.
No, I'm going to Buck Tussle, West Virginia.
Where?
What?
Buck Tussle, West Virginia.
Who in the Buck Tussle is that? What?
Okay. Nah, that's something I just made up, brother.
I
was like, about the. Hey, serious?
Hey, it's West Virginia. You never know.
Right.
Shout out to my West Virginia family.
I'm out here in Conyers today.
Conyers. Okay.
Same thing.
Okay. Right. Yes, Jeff. So as far as what's your thought on what's been said as far as moving forward conversations? Are you the type that kind of jump in? I know you've gotten has had the honor of being voluntold to do certain things. But have you like jumped into things, or we need to do something and you kind of lead it, or you kind of, all right, you lead, I'll follow you. Like let's go. Like I don't want to be totally in charge of this thing, or like what's your opinion?
Nah, man, I've never been an activist like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna even try to act like that was one of the roles that I played. I was more about me. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I in my circle, right, I wanted everybody to win. I wanted everybody to eat, but
right,
I was making sure that I was eating first. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
But I mean, that was in my younger years. Now, at this age, in my maturation process, I'm more willing and more eager to uplift and help and try to, you know what I'm saying, leave a footprint of positive trail behind me. So, I mean, that's one reason why I'm on the show. You know what I'm saying? That's one reason why I choose to nurture our friendship. You know what I'm saying? Because you is definitely a different Negro than what I'm accustomed to. So.
Awesome.
So, but I appreciate your friendship, and I appreciate the things that you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not. So I'm like a cheerleader for you in the background. You feel me?
Appreciate that. Awesome.
One of the things he says, I'm not an activist. I mean, right, that's the other part. You know, we don't have to be extremes in this space. If we're having conversations and we want to create change, is sometimes just keeping the conversation going.
Yeah.
That's what this platform is about. Like he was saying, it's keeping the conversation going. This is something that men do all the time. We talk about stuff like this behind the scenes, and all we're doing is putting it out there for the public to see now. Right. We're a few guys getting together regularly, and we're having conversations. Right. We're talking about things in our wheelhouse, in our world, and everything else. And we don't have to be activists. We just have to be people who are willing to make a change, to see a difference. Right.
True.
And so when you were talking about getting into like spaces where organizations and people are already doing something and bringing your community, your support there.
Yeah,
that's important to know. Like, there are times where you may see a space that's not filled.
Yeah,
and you may be the person who can see the need and meet the need.
Right.
And go ahead and meet it.
Right.
But then if there's another organization already doing it, help meet their needs.
Right.
And to meet the needs of the other people. It's a community. It's people coming together to do something.
Right.
Over the years, I've started a couple things. I started this organization and Redemption and Advancement because there was a need that wasn't being met, in my opinion. When it comes to people who are transitioning out of prison, people who are coming from underserved communities, and just the need, we weren't focused on the people. We were just focused on can they get a job? Can we get them some housing? Can we get them, what can we get them?
Right.
It's not about getting them. It's about empowering them to do what they need to do.
Right.
It's about building the person. The person's the most important part of this whole process.
Yeah.
And so I didn't see a lot of organizations thinking about the person. It was always thinking about the program. It was thinking about what can we do to get them through. And so I wrote a curriculum and called Rethink Life, which helps the person, empowers the person. We know the what, we know the why, we just don't understand how sometimes, right? We know what we want to do, why we want to do it, how do we get there? The only way you know how to get there is if the person is making different changes. They're doing things different. And so that was a niche. That was niche, or however you want to say it.
The niche. It's a niche. Depending on where you're from. It's the niche.
Depends on where you're from. And, that's what we have to do sometimes. We have to see that there's a need, meet a need, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times we don't see that aspect of life. Is like, there's a need, let me meet it. We feel like, I don't know, that we can't do enough. listen, just start, get in somewhere, right? I prefer niche also. Just saying, niche.
I used my little carpenter buddy. He used to, when he try to update us on different stuff, when we were renovating the bathroom. Okay. Yes, the shampoo niche. Like what? What did he say? Shampoo niche. Oh, shampoo niche. Oh, okay, I got it.
Niche goes along with that flower. Actually.
Jeff. Yeah. All right. So honestly, what's good about this type of forum is this is the educational aspect of making people aware, right? Awareness has to happen first. The old adage is you don't know what you don't know, right? It's true, indeed. And that's good. That's good, Jeff. You definitely need an entry point into information. Like, is that really going on? Like, is this really happening? So that you know what's going on in your circle, what's going on in your community. I always think about Trayvon Martin and how no one knew what was happening until the mother posted what happened on Facebook. Like, nobody knew. There was like, my son is dead, the killer's loose. I need, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. And it's like, what? How they know he shot him and he loose? And that sparked outrage. That honestly that created the momentum as to where we head now. Like, that really pushed it. He said, once you find out, then you go back to the turtle. Some dude. That's real. That's real. You're like, oh my gosh, that's awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you can only, I think as far as when you see things that need to be changed, you try to do your best to be involved, to be a part of, and be honest. Like, listen, I give you about an hour a week, and a lot of times, most volunteer efforts like, hey, I'll take that. Can you do an hour and a half? Because we got setup time and then your hour.
Right.
So it's those moments, like, whatever you can do to help, push your community forward. Because I feel like a lot of our communities are the way they are because we got too busy. We're too busy in our lives and doing certain things, and we're not looking out into the community. So now we're just a product of whatever the officials decide, whatever business decides, whatever just happens. And we're not a part of that change. He said, Thomas, give me that serious steak mixed with the little.
No snake eye here. I don't do snake eyes.
That's hilarious.
But it's interesting that when we start thinking about the activities that we do and why we don't do as much as we used to. Like, our communities used to come together for everything, marches, everything. We would be out there. But now that we have a little access, this little access, we think we arrive. And the reality is, I got mine, get yours now. Right. A lot of times that's where I got mine, get yours. I don't have time for looking back. Yeah, I remember where I come from, and I know I don't want to go back, or whatever it may be.
Right.
Or sometimes we support the organizations that have just been around that we know. Right. Nothing wrong with that. Again,
right.
Support them, but also look for the little guys that you can support, because there's these grassroots efforts. There's these people who are boots on the ground that are making a big impact. A lot of times these people that are boots on the ground are actually helping the bigger organizations maintain their bigness, because they have no other platform that they can go and do their work on.
Right.
So the benefit of the bigger organizations is they have the longevity in the name, so they can go out and get the millions of dollars worth of funding. Right. And the little guy has to try to, get a piece of the crust. Right. Not even a piece of the pie. Just give me some crust, please. Right. And so when we're talking about these conversations, like this conversation right here, could spark someone to say, you know what? I never thought about, what's actually happening on the ground. Who's actually doing what type of work? Because we just look at the work that's going out, and we can say, okay, I know this organization. I can trust this organization.
Right.
Well, you can't trust another organization because you never get a chance to get to know them.
Yeah.
You never get to see the intimacy of what they're actually doing.
True.
So conversations can create change. We just need to be able to want to be a part of that change.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. He said exactly, Thomas. I honestly prefer to help the small organizations. Speaking of help, make sure you guys share. You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We come on every day. I have to say every weekday, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. We appreciate you guys for hanging and sharing and caring and being a part of all that we do. If you're feeling led to support, like you feel like, oh, I got an itch, I need to scratch. So feel free to go to your Cash App and $ BOL 2019, Cash App $ BOL 2019, or you can go to brothersoflegacy.com and hit Beyond Donation. Go to brothersoflegacy.com and hit Beyond Donation, and you can donate there. We've gotten too used to conversing and not taking action. That's true. Yeah. A lot of talk. It's a lot of talk happening, and not a lot of action sometimes. So today, hopefully, we'll spark you to make some change. If there's something burning that you feel like needs to be changed in the community, and sometimes you don't, because you're not part of certain things. You don't see it. You don't notice it. You don't realize it. And it's like, I don't know, should it be your concern? Possibly, because some things grow, right? Some issue, this small issue here that you're like all the way over there can grow into something more. So be aware of what's happening in your community. If things are coming up or businesses that are controversial being built, remember, you can always, don't they have like zoning moments, like commission? I forgot the term, but you can kind of say something about this business being in our neighborhood. There's like the forums, don't they usually have that? They post forums up, and you could usually say something about businesses cropping up in your area that
get linked in with your Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, there you go.
That'll help you out a lot.
Yeah. So, and that keeps you abreast of what's happening with your community, and you can kind of say something. And some other people are like, what you mean is such and such is coming here? When we get riled up, we'll make time. Like when we get it, we get excited. Oh, I'm gonna call out from work today. Right. They done tried the wrong one, So what up, Richard? I don't think, and what up, Reese? Good morning. I don't think people act because they are afraid to fail or have their theory fall apart. That's interesting.
I think so. I think he's hit something there. Like, a lot of times people feel like their actions aren't enough, right?
Right. And
the reality is any action is better than no action. Right. And so, we have to really get out there. When I started this organization, I had no clue what to do as far as a nonprofit. And if I sat here and I could tell the story, I'm going to record the story one day and just put it out there in social media so everybody can hear it. But I was telling the person, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start a nonprofit. I don't know this. I don't know that. And he challenged me and said, what are you waiting for? And the reality is I don't know what I don't know. So go learn it. Right. And, from the moment that I was having that conversation of what I don't know, 90 days later, I had an approval letter from the IRS talking about I had a 501c3. I'm like, what in the world? That was 12 years ago, right? And so ultimately, it's like sometimes we just got to know that this is a need. Let me put myself out there a little bit, because if I don't, there's a lot of people out there that they're going to go through a lot more struggle. And, we can't help everybody. We already know that. Don't think that I'm going to change the world. I'm going to help everybody. But just like the story about the person walking down the beach and saw the starfish, right? You probably heard that before. Never heard that one?
I've never heard that one.
Walking down
I thought you were going to talk about
the beach, and there's all these starfish on the beach in the morning. Okay. And it's like, man, we got to do something. So they start picking up the starfish, and it's like, there's too many. You can't do nothing to help these starfish. I'm mangling the story, but basically it's they're going down. He's like, you can't help all these starfish, and pick one up and threw it in the water and said, I helped that one. It's like, that's kind of the way we have to be at times, is that we have to be able to understand that the little bit that we do helps somebody.
Right.
And we don't know what that help is going to do for the next person that may spark the movement that we're looking for.
Right.
And, so be a part of a movement, whatever that movement looks like, because there are a lot of inequities in this country. There's access to things, but there's inequity because everybody doesn't know how to access, and everybody hasn't always had the ability to move into that access.
Right.
And so a lot of the change that we're looking to do and to bring, it starts with people. People are struggling. They're trying to figure it out. I've asked over 15,000 people, do you want to be in a bad situation? And I could put this out to the Brothers of Legacy land right now. Do you want to be in a bad situation? I guarantee you everybody's answer is no.
Right.
No. I mean, how many questions can you ask people and get the same exact answer?
Right.
No one wants to be in a bad situation. No one that goes out and uses drugs says, I'm going to use these drugs to tear my life up. They don't do that. They're trying to, do it for a specific reason. It just turns out all wrong. It goes all bad. Right. No one wants to end up in prison. I've asked thousands of people in prison, do you want to be here?
I've never heard I'd like to try at least 90 days. Right. I'd try it. Give it a shot.
I don't want to do this, right? And so it's important for us to understand that everybody wants their life to be better. And I say this all the time. This is a saying that I've learned from asking those three questions. Do you want your life to be better? Do you want to be in prison? Do you want your life to be bad? Answers are always exactly the same. So the desire for a better life is in all of us, but sometimes the way we go about trying to get there causes most of our problems. Now we're trying to undo this. We're trying to make something different happen. And what ends up happening is we need people to help us. We need that support to get us from conversation to change.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Definitely. Conversation, change. There it is. Make sure you guys are checking out Redeem Redeem/events dash. Couldn't think of it. I was like slash. No, it's not a slash. That's a dash. Redeem-advance.org. Redeem-advance.org. Check out Thomas Curriculums, as well as support. I'm sure there's a donate button. Make sure you donate if you can. And listen, we appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for being a part of the Brothers of Legacy. Thank you, Mr. Kaneem, for rocking with us. Let's hold on. AKA, what is he today? Let me see. I forgot what is he? CeeLo, AKA CeeLo Thomas.
Yeah.
Cotton,
AKA
Talk too much. And you never shut up. All right. So classic song right there. Classic. All right. So we appreciate you guys for being here. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Freestyle Friday. Thank you, Mama Corey. Thank you. I don't know. I see if Mr. Thomas will be in the building. We can do some dad jokes. Definitely get CeeLo involved. There's some dad jokes.
I'm just a participant. I don't do the jokes. I just like to listen, and then when I hear something that I feel in my heart that's lame, then I just get off.
That's it. Just do your lane, and then you get up. We're gonna get some dad jokes out.
I would love to have Kaneem tell a dad joke.
Oh, okay. Well,
I would love to have Kaneem come in and hit us with a dad joke. That'd be awesome.
Well, I mean, as long as you keep loving that idea, man, you're gonna always be wrapped up in love.
There it is.
That's kind of a dad joke right there. That's kind of, dad-ish.
So,
okay.
Can I get on tomorrow freestyle? I got you, brother. I'm gonna send you the link. We'll get you on. We'll get you on.
Who that is, Reese?
Yes, Reese. I got some.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge that Jeff is out of Facebook prison.
Oh yeah, they did.
Good job, Jeff.
You got probation or parole? Which one you got? Which one you on, Jeff? Probation or parole, brother?
They're gonna do a comment check on you. Comment check. Make sure you sit around. So I got you, Reese. I'm gonna send you that link.
Or is it jail? I call it Facebook prison. You know,
right. It depends.
Hey, Thomas, he probably got a spin number. He probably got a spin number.
Wait a minute. He was on over here. Now he's over here.
I'm working on getting back. And as soon as I can, just give me a couple episodes.
I mean,
he was on Facebook. Well, maybe it's probably
he's probably on both platforms.
It might be limited, or it might be his alias.
He's probably on both platforms.
Create another account. Got the backup account. So we see you guys tomorrow, guys. Be blessed. Stay safe, and do the right things.
988.
Oh, right. 988. You or someone you love is having a mental health crisis. Dial 988. And know that I learned this. They don't move as fast as 911, because of the amount of help right now. So 988 though, just dial 988. You'll get the appropriate help. You don't need guns blazing for every situation. All right.
Listen, so 911 doesn't move that fast in Atlanta.
Right. I know. Flavor Flav said it a long time ago. 911 is a joke. All right. So he said that's great stuff. Talk about. All right. No politics. You know us, Reese. Appreciate you. All right. So we see you guys tomorrow, same channel. Be blessed. Know that we love you. Jesus loves you more. Make good choices. And again, if first you don't succeed, then eat cake. Peace out.